Hello students, I hope you have understood the previous videos, all the topics taught in those videos. You have understood all those topics. Now we will be moving towards the next topic, that is the general concepts. We have to discuss about many general concepts, and in further videos we will be discussing them in detail also. I am covering few topics under this video, starting with the very first concept, that is price. When we talk about price, we talk about money. We talk that we have to give money, like a pen is of 10 rupees, so 10 rupees is the price which I have to pay. But in economic terms, when we talk about prices, then we take two types of prices. The very first one is your commodity price, that is the price which you have to pay for a full commodity, like the final good I'm talking about. Like if I'm talking about a pen, then the price of the pen which I have to pay to the shopkeeper, that is the commodity price. Like I'm paying 10 rupees for it, so it is the commodity price of that pen. But when I'm talking about the other price, that is the factor price, that time I'll be considering the labor used to make that pen. Even I'll be considering the machine factor, even the other factors like the refill, the plastic, and all other things, the material things which are used to make that particular commodity. All those prices which a company or a producer has to pay for factors used to make a commodity, you can say all the inputs used to make a commodity, all those are known as factor prices, while the other one, the price of the commodity, is called commodity price. Now moving towards the next part is value. When we talk about value of something, it means that is that thing worth, is the amount I have paid for that thing, that particular thing, it is fine or not. Like if we talk about it in two different senses. The very first one is value in use. When I'm using something, I'm getting the satisfaction, I'm getting the utility from that. The utility gained while consuming that thing, while using that thing. A pen, it can be a candle, it can be anything, any good. The utility, the satisfaction I am gaining from that thing is known as value in use. Okay, like air is very essential for all of us, but it is present in a large amount, so it is giving us the value in use, but in exchange we are not paying anything. So talking about the value in exchange, when we talk about that, it means that when I go to the market, I want something. If I am hungry, I want to take something, you can say it, let it be a burger. When we talk about that burger, I am taking that, and in exchange I am giving some amount of money to that shopkeeper. Okay, so that is the value in exchange. Moving towards the next part, that is our nominal value. Nominal means the price written. You can directly say the nominal price means the value written or the value you are paying. That is the nominal price or nominal value of that good. Like if a pen is of 10 rupees, if a burger is of 20 rupees, if it is of 100 rupees, that is the nominal value. So it depends upon the value we have to pay, the actual value it is having. While on the other hand, when we talk about the real value, it is taken in terms of utility, you can say. Like I am taking a burger and it having a nominal value of 100 rupees, but the real value, the satisfaction it is giving me, it is not at all good. So I'll say that it is not good. The real value of this particular thing is much less as compared to the nominal value I have paid. Now moving towards the next concept, that is our wealth. For an individual, wealth is different thing. Talking about an individual, we can say the cash, the card, the money, the gold, silver, bank deposits, property, etc. These all can be wealth, or the source of all these things, or source of money. It can be included in the wealth part. But When we talk about a nation from the national point of view, what do you think wealth would be? So, when we talk about nation, even human beings are a wealth to a nation. That is human wealth, human resource. Human beings also act as a resource to a nation. So, they are using the income, they are bringing the income flow in the economy, even the machinery, the plants, the stock of exchange, the raw material present, all the other things, the natural resources. Is that nation having good natural resources? Is it like, you can say, it is deficient in different things like natural resources, or it is having the natural resources in abundance? If we are having scarce natural resources, like we don't have the petroleum reserves to that extent, we have to import that thing. So for importing you need more money, means our money will flow outwards. That is not good for the balance of the payment in an economy. So it is better to have, that is the blessing of God, whether your economy, whether your nation is it rich with the nutrients present, the natural resources present, the ores, the minerals present or not. So it depends upon nature, but many countries are blessed with natural resources, and ours, India, our nation, it is also blessed with it. So next concept is welfare. When we talk about the welfare, it means well-being of the citizens, you can say, of a society. Is the nation working for it? Like, you can say, we are having many parks, even the hospitals and the education, you can say. When we talk about the education sector, you know that the government schools, they are giving the education at very low fees. The fees they have to pay is very less. So when we are getting something at very less prices, and they are for the welfare of the society, thinking in mind and keeping in mind the view that in long term this thing will benefit us, we will get rid of this basic problem or something like that. Like, we will get rid of poverty, we will get rid of unemployment, like all the people, they will get at least some training about the skills, they will get vocational education. Such things are kept in mind when the government is working. So, this is the reason why we consider the welfare of the society, and mostly the social welfare is concerned. Even economics is also having a branch of economics which deals with all these concepts of welfare. It is known as welfare economics. So, in detail, it is studied under that welfare economics. When we talk about wealth and welfare, welfare means the happiness, welfare brings the happiness to someone. Okay, but on the other hand, when we talk about wealth, not everything can be purchased with the help of the wealth, this is said, but both are equally important. If a country is having good amount of wealth with it, but it is not doing any social good, that is, it is not doing any social welfare, then also the country is not fine, it is not doing any justice. So it means that the wealth as well as the social welfare, both the things, they should go side by side, and both are equally important. So a country should aim at increasing both the things. Even the wealth should also increase, as well as the welfare, the social welfare, both of these things should increase for the well-being of an economy. So the equitable distribution is important. Now moving towards money. Why was money evolved? How the concept came into the mind of the people who developed money? Was the money like this only? Like, we use paper notes, we use coins, we use different things. Was the concept the same in the past, or was there any different system in the past? So we have to discuss about the system also, that is barter system. In barter system, usually the things used to be exchanged, like I need wheat and the other person standing next to me need wheat, rice, and I am having rice. So I'll be taking the wheat from that person, and he will be taking the rice from my side, and we both will satisfy each other. That was the barter system, in which instead of money, goods were exchanged. In order to study this in detail, you see the other video. The link of that video, I'll be mentioning that link in the description. I'll put that in the description so that you can understand money and its concepts in detail. What is money, how it functions, what are the different types of money, and how it evolved. All these topics I have covered in a particular video. Go through it and understand the concept of money in detail. Even the barter system, the problem of double coincidence, is also covered in that topic. Moving towards the market. Commonly we have heard about this word, and this is very common word. And market generally is compared to a bazaar, you can say, or a shopping mall or place where we go and take the things. But in economics, this term is having a different meaning, and that meaning is very much important to all of us, as you know that in economics, if there would not be any market, then the selling and purchasing is not possible. So again, as we have discussed, that prices are different, like prices of commodities are different and factor prices are different. Similarly, we can talk about the two different markets, that are commodity market and factor market. Basically, the concept of market in economics means that in which the consumer, the customer who has to buy the things, and the seller, they are in close contact. The producer as well as the consumer, they are in close contact, and they can purchase and sell things. So in commodity market, the finished goods are sold. It can be even the e-market. We can talk about that also. The internet marketing, that topic can also be included in the market. So when we talk about factor market, if we are buying the factors, like the factor of production, the money, the capital market, all these markets, the labor market, are the factor markets. So you might have seen that you can go to the labor market and ask for the labor over there. You can get the labor at the prices, and the fee you have to pay them, the price you have to pay them, that is almost the same. Okay, so you can go and ask for the labor in the labor market. All these are under factor market. When we talk about the size of the market, it refers to the value of transaction. It doesn't mean that the population size, what is the population size, is the market big, like what is the geographical area in square kilometers, etc. You don't have to keep in mind all those things. You just have to think about the purchasing power, you can say, which tells you about the size of the market, that whether the people are able to buy that amount of products or not. Is the market good? Is it having the right prices, journal price level, is it okay or not? You have to consider all those things in mind. One thing about the price which was left, I have to tell you about the general price level. When we talk about the general price level, we have to keep in mind that we are not considering one particular good. We are considering the overall prices of the goods which are specific or which are necessary. You can say they are necessary, and we are comparing it with we are given with an index number. We have to compare with that particular index number. Mostly we take that index number, that is 100. If the general price level of this year, you can say, if it is more than 100, then it means that it is increasing. The general price index is increasing. While if it is decreasing, like if it is 104, 105 or above 100, that means it is increasing. If it is below 100, like 85, 95, it is decreasing. So the fall or the rise, it is shown with the help of general price level of the different specific goods. With this, we have completed this particular part and this video. In the next video, we will be covering the all topics which are left, like production is left, and we have to talk about all the factors also. We have to do that in the next video. Till then, I'll be giving you the assignment. Complete this assignment and don't feel overburdened. Even don't feel hesitated. If you have any doubt, you can ask me. Thank you. Stay home, stay safe. Do comment if you have any doubt.